So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Jones. I am one of the educational advisors here in the International Student Center at Pasadena City College. Today, we are going to talk about Curricular Practical Training, or CPT. So what is CPT? We're going to go through that today, and here's our agenda. So we have what is CPT, CPT eligibility, the requirements for CPT, how to apply to CPT, CPT benefits, the processing time, and resources. So as I was saying, what is CPT? CPT is short for Curricular Practical Training. CPT is training that is an integral or required part of your curriculum. It is a temporary work authorization for practical training. It relates directly to your field of study or major, and it occurs during your course of study. So CPT is a way for you to do like an internship if you want to work off campus, and it must be related to your major. That's kind of the summary of what CPT is. CPT, what can it be? So it could be paid or it could be unpaid. It could be part-time or full-time. So during fall and spring semesters, you can only do part-time CPT, so up to 20 hours per week. In the summer break, you could work full-time for CPT, which is more than 20 hours per week. So you can still do part-time CPT over the summer, but you just have the option to work more hours if you want to during that time. Now, one thing to know about CPT is that there can be an impact on optional practical training, or OPT. So use of part-time CPT, that does not impact your OPT eligibility. So anytime you're doing less than 20 hours per week, that doesn't affect your OPT. However, if you do 12 months of cumulative full-time CPT, that eliminates your eligibility for OPT. So you would have to do maybe 4 years of summers of CPT, or maybe 3 years in order for it to affect your OPT, which is very unlikely, but it is something we do need to warn you about. And so that's just one thing to know. So who is eligible for CPT? You must have valid F1 status. So that's one thing. So as long as you're here in the United States and you have your I-20, you'll have valid F1 status. You must have been lawfully enrolled on a full-time basis, so 12 units, and completed at least one full academic year, which is fall and spring semester. You have to be currently enrolled in a full course of study or approved for a reduced course load, or what we call RCL. You're not studying in an ESL language program. You have a job offer related to your field of study or major, and it requires you to register in a course, either one related to your major or an internship course. So the requirements for CPT. So you must obtain CPT authorization before beginning your employment. So that means that in order to do CPT, we need to approve you before you start your work. So you can't get your job and then say, oh, I remember that I need to get approved. Let me get approved now. No, you need to first be approved and then you can start working. You would be authorized by a designated school official, which is your assigned advisor. So you would get approved either by Rosa, me, or Kathy. It occurs during your program of study and before the end date on your Form I-20. So because this is related to your class, it needs to be within your I-20 dates. Authorization is for one specific employer. So say you want to work for multiple employers or do multiple internships in one semester. So for example, you're an accounting major and you want to work at one of the accounting firms like PwC, but then you get another offer to work at another accounting firm like Deloitte. So you would have to be approved for CPT for each employer. So one for PwC and one for Deloitte. Okay, so each authorization is for one employer. Now also authorization is for a specific period of time. It's related to the semester. So you can only intern during those dates. So if you wish to continue your internship past the one semester, you have to be approved for CPT again. So for example, if in that previous one, say you were working in Deloitte for fall semester on CPT, you want to continue your internship with Deloitte in the spring semester, you would need to be approved again for CPT. So if you know that you're going to intern for 1 year, in the middle of the fall semester, I recommend that you start the CPT process again because it's going to take some time to be approved for the spring semester. So plan ahead. So other requirements. What does volunteering mean? So volunteering refers to donating time with an organization whose primary purpose is charitable or humanitarian. This does not need CPT approval, but it's highly recommended that you speak with your advisor first. Volunteering is one of those gray areas, so it's really important that you talk to me or Rosa or Kathy when she returns from her leave to see if your volunteering actually would need to be approved or not. So what is an unpaid internship? An unpaid internship, it refers to participating and gaining work experience directly related to your field of study or major. So, but that means you're not getting a pay for that. Now, multiple jobs. You can have more than one employment authorization at the same time, but both work combined cannot be more than 20 hours per week in the fall and the spring semesters. In the summer, you can have up to 40 hours. Now, if you have any changes, you need to report them to your advisor immediately. So if you get a new employer, new address, new phone number, etc., come talk to us and we'll help you make sure that everything is in line. The last thing too is that you need to file the taxes if the internship is a paid internship. So there are services such as Glacier Tax or Spring Tax that you can use to file as an international student. You could also find a accountant, a CPA, that specializes in non-resident or international student taxes. There's an accountant in the LA area called Gary Engler. You could reach out to him to help them file your taxes. But it's important you do pay your taxes because that is part of working in the United States, and you want to make sure you are following all the processes so you don't have anything like any red flags on your record. So how do you apply to CPT? So it kind of depends on does your major have classes that require fieldwork or clinicals? So if it's yes, then you would need to secure your job and get the offer letter. Then you would register for the major class. After that, you meet with an academic counselor to request your CPT recommendation. Then you submit your CPT request and your job offer letter to your advisor. Then you will receive CPT authorization and your Form I-20 with the CPT recommendation. You also would begin CPT on the start and end dates of the Form I-20. So with this, for the if it's related to your major class, so for example, if you are a registered nursing student, you're going to be doing clinical rotations, and that is part of your classes. This would be an example of a class that would need CPT approval because they're doing those clinicals at a hospital site off campus. And so if you're a registered nursing student, you would need to get approved. So that's an example of a class that would require CPT approval. Now, the second option is if you don't have a class like that in your major, then you first would apply for a job and get the job offer letter. Once you get your job offer letter, you would contact Dr. Kimberly Shediak, and her email is on the screen, kshediak@pasadena.edu, and you will ask her to enroll in the internship class. So depending on if it's a paid or unpaid internship, you will get one class code or a different class code. And then depending on the number of hours, then the number of units will change. Once you are approved to get into the internship class and you've registered, then you will meet with an academic counselor to request the CPT recommendation. After you do that, then you'll get the CPT, you'll submit the CPT request and your offer letter, and you'll submit them to your advisor. After that, then the advisor will approve you for CPT, and they will give you a Form I-20 with the CPT recommendation. You'll begin CPT on the start and end dates of the approval on the second page of your I-20. So we'll show you what that looks like in the future slides. So what does your job offer letter need to have on it? A CPT job offer letter, it must be on the company's letterhead, and it needs to include your full legal name. So make sure this matches your passport and your I-20. Also your job title and your position, your job description, the company's name and address. Also provide work locations if it's different than the company's address. Specify whether the work is part-time or full-time. Specify if the work is paid or an unpaid internship. Specify the start date and the supervisor's name and contact information. So in here, you'll see we need all this information because we have to enter this into the government database. So that's important. And then also, if you're registering for Dr. Shediak's class, she needs to know this information so that she can make sure you're registered for the right course and giving you the right amount of units. Now, the job description is important because we need to know how that job is related to your major. So make sure that your job is related to your major and that the job description clearly relates to what you're studying. So here is a sample of what a job offer letter looks like. So you'll see at the top, it is on the company's letterhead. It has the date, it has the full name of the student. It also has the name of the company. It also has the address of the company. It has her position, also the description of the position, and then also the expected employment dates, and then also the contact information for the supervisor of the student. So this is a perfect letter. We wouldn't need anything. So make sure that your letter looks like this and has all this information in it. So what do you need to do, or what is the checklist to remember what you need to do? So you need to schedule an appointment with your assigned advisor, and we can discuss your eligibility and requirements for CPT. From there, start looking and applying and secure an internship to receive the job offer. This can take a while, so start applying early. You would also then need to register for the major class or internship class. And the internship class is Business 70A or Business 70B, depending if it's paid or unpaid. After you register, then schedule an appointment with an international academic counselor and complete the CPT recommendation form. After that, then submit the CPT recommendation form and your job offer letter to your assigned advisor to receive the decision. If approved, then you'll get an updated Form I-20 with your employment information on the second page. Then you would apply for your Social Security number if you don't already have one, and then you will begin your internship following the dates on your I-20. So what are the benefits of CPT? It feels like a kind of cumbersome and troublesome process. Why would you want to do CPT? CPT has a lot of benefits. So it's a structured learning experience. So in registering for a class, it's giving you on-the-job hands-on experience that you can build your resume with, but also you're going to have guidance from your professors to make sure that you're getting the most out of this experience working. They can also help you navigate American workplace, like American workplace culture if you're unfamiliar. So that's the second point. It can be great to experience the US workplace and see how the work culture and work environment is in the United States. You can also build personal and professional confidence. And in that, you can also be building personal and professional relationships and network and use these for the future. You're also going to be gaining practical experience and transferable skills. You're also going to be applying your classroom knowledge to develop your workplace skills, which is really important nowadays. Finally, it allows you to explore different career paths and industries and fields, or even specific companies that you think you're interested in. It's really important as a young adult or even adult later on, switching industries, try out different companies. They all have different environments, cultures, experiences, so that you can learn to see what you like and you don't like. And any experience is a good experience, even if you don't like it, because you can put that in your pocket and say, I don't want to work in a place like that again, or I don't like a supervisor who manages me like that. Those are still positive experiences because you're learning what you do and do not want in your future work environment. So how long does it take for us to process this? Early planning is definitely necessary for CPT. We cannot backdate CPT dates. And so because you need to find the job offer, you need to talk to the professor, you need to sign up for the class, you need to meet with the academic advisor, and then finally it has to come to your advisor. Just plan ahead. So once you get to us as the advisor, it can take 5 to 10 business days to process a complete request. So that means that you have the job offer letter, you've signed up for the internship class, and you've got the approved CPT request. After that, applying for a social security number can take up to 2 to 3 weeks. So it can take a while if you don't already have your social security number. Remember, CPT authorization is required for each employer and it's required for each semester. So some things to remember. On the page 2 of your I-20, you can only work during the approved time listed. Do not begin working until that date and do not begin working until you've received approval from your advisor. These are very important things to remember. Now, let's look at your I-20 and where you'll see this information once you get approved for CPT. So this is the second page of your I-20, and you'll see that in the employment authorizations box, you're going to see something that says CPT, and then it'll say part-time if it's part-time or full-time if it's full-time. And then the status will say approved, and then it'll have the start date and the end date. Additionally, in the box below, you're going to see an employer information box, and then you'll see the authorization dates, also the type, and then you'll see the employer name, and then the start date, end date, city, and state. So here are some resources that you can use. Some PCC resources. You can come visit us in the International Student Center. We are open for business Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're located in D204. Our main phone number is 626-585-7808, and our general email is iso@pasadena.edu. A lot of this information is on our website, so make sure to explore our website, www.pasadena.edu/international. On there, you'll find a section called Maintaining Your F1 Status or Maintaining Your Status. Click on that, and under there, you're going to find an employment page that lays out all of these CPT steps if you happen to forget them. You can also talk to an academic counselor. We have 4 wonderful academic counselors that are dedicated to our international students. We're located here in D204. Once again, you can call us at 626-585-7808. If you want to book an appointment, you can follow that URL link there. The Career Center is a great place for you to help you look for internships off campus. They're located in the IT building, room 200, right off the roundabout off of Hill. So you can go look for them there. It's a very beautiful space. It was redone recently, very clean, very sleek. And there they can give you help with resume writing, exploring different internship opportunities, applying for internships. And so you can schedule an appointment with them either by phone, 626-585-3377, or by email, freemancareercenterpcc@pasadena.edu. You also can find their website there on the slide. Additionally, for the CPT request packet, you can find it at the link there. Okay, the next page we have, sorry.
Michael, there's a question.
Sure.
So,
actually, maybe I'll just finish the resources and then we'll take the questions at the end if that's okay.
okay, awesome.
Yeah, we're almost done. So external resources, there is a website called Eureka. So you can find the website at www.eureka.org. And you can create your login using the ID code HMYIWUC. And you can use this to help you find internships, and they have internship opportunities on there. Study in the States is a great resource for international students. You can find more information on curricular practical training there at studyinthestates.dhs.gov. And then also, if you have more information about employment, you can look at the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, USCIS website, which is www.ice.gov/cvis/practical training. And we'll share this this PowerPoint with you, so if you want the links, you can find them later. Some terms, finally, CPT stands for Curricular Practical Training. DSO stands for Designated School Official. USCIS stands for United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. DHS stands for Department of Homeland Security. SEVP stands for Student and Exchange Visitor Program. SEVIS stands for Student and Exchange Visitor Information Services. SSA stands for Social Security Administration. SSN stands for Social Security Number. And then the Form I-20 is the 3-page document you need to apply for the F1 visa. So finally, if you ever need to reach out to your advisor, we have 3 advisors. Kathy is currently out on leave, so she's temporarily out for spring 2022. But Rosa and I are handling her caseload. So Rosa has students A through J and X, Y, and Z. You can reach her at rmviegas@pasadena.edu or at 626-585-3373. The link to book an appointment with her is on the slide. Additionally, you can also meet with me if you have last names K through W. You can reach me at 626-585-3341 or at my email mjones55@pasadena.edu. You'll find my link for the appointments there also. So with that, I think we will take some questions. So Kim, what question do we have in the chat?
So the student asks, hold on. Do internship classes take one whole semester? And also, what do you mean by paid or unpaid internship classes?
Yes, so the internship class will be dependent on the dates of your internship. So if your internship is like shorter than the 16 weeks of the semester, then the class dates will be shorter than the 16 weeks of the semester. So for example, if you have an 8-week internship, then the dates will be only 8 weeks rather than 16 weeks. I hope that makes sense. So then the second question you had is, what's the paid or unpaid internship class? So it's not whether you're paying or not for the class, it's whether the internship is paying you or not. So, so if you have an internship that is paying you, like giving you an hourly rate, then one class is for like one of the two classes is for internships with pay. The other class is for internships that are not paid. So in the United States, there are internships of both types of paid and unpaid. But either way, you will have to pay for the units for the class that you register for. I hope that makes sense. Mhm.
And then the next question is, since part-time internship is still eligible for OPT, what if I do part-time CPT for spring and fall semester? And then if my plan is to get an associate's degree, am I still eligible to get 12 months OPT after getting an associate degree?
Yes, that's correct. So as long as you're not doing cumulative 12 months of full-time CPT, you're fine. So in that case that you gave, you'd be doing part-time CPT for fall semester, part-time CPT for spring semester. You're good to go. You still have 12 months of OPT if you want to use it. Any other questions or concerns?
I think that's all our questions, Michael.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.